Sister openly hates my wife's name, but then she gives birth to a daughter and names her after my wife. My sister's voice sliced through the family dinner like a knife through butter. Sharp and unapologetic Evelyn. Seriously, Mark, you married someone named Evelyn. It sounds like a dusty old librarian who's been dead since the 1800s. The room froze, forks hovering midair, as my wife's face flushed crimson, her smile wilting under the weight of Claire's words. That was the first time I realized how much my sister could hate a name, or maybe, I feared, it wasn't just the name she despised. Claire had always been the loud one, the one who commanded attention with her wit and charm. But that night, her words weren't charming. They were cruel, and they hung over our family like a storm cloud that refused to break. Evelyn, my wife, was new to our family then, barely 6 months into our marriage, and I could see her trying to laugh it off, her fingers tightening around her napkin as she murmured, "It's just a name, Claire." But it wasn't just a name. It was her identity, her history, her mother's name, and Claire had spat on it without a second thought. I should have said something that night, should have shut Claire down, but I didn't. I was too stunned, too caught in the middle of being the peacekeeper between my fiery sister and my gentle wife. Our family dinners were always loud, chaotic affairs, Mom's lasagna, Dad's bad jokes, Claire's endless stories about her high-flying marketing job in Chicago. Evelyn, with her quiet strength and love for painting, was still finding her place among us. She was the kind of person who listened more than she spoke, her eyes always catching details others missed, like the way Claire's smile never quite reached her eyes when she looked at her. I thought it was just Claire being Claire Blunt, opinionated, maybe a little jealous of the new woman in my life. But as the months turned into years, Claire's disdain for Evelyn's name became a running joke, one she wielded like a weapon. "Oh, Evelyn, that's such an Evelyn thing to do," she'd say when Evelyn brought homemade cookies to Thanksgiving. Or, "Only an Evelyn would wear that shade of green." Each jab landed harder than the last, and I saw the light in my wife's eyes dim a little more each time. Evelyn never fought back. She'd smile, change the subject, or slip away to help Mom in the kitchen. I tried to talk to Claire once, cornering her after a particularly brutal comment about Evelyn's old lady name at Christmas. "Why do you keep doing this?" I asked, my voice low so Mom wouldn't hear. Claire just shrugged, her dark hair falling over one shoulder as she sipped her wine. "It's just a name. Mark, lighten up. If she can't handle a little teasing, maybe she's not cut out for this family." Her words stung because they echoed my own fears. Evelyn was different from us, softer, more sensitive, but I loved her for it. I loved the way she'd leave little notes in my lunch, the way she'd hum while sketching in her studio, the way she made me feel like I was enough. Claire didn't see that. She saw a target. 3 years into our marriage, things shifted. Claire met someone, Tom, a steady, kind-eyed architect who seemed to ground her in a way I hadn't thought possible. They got engaged quickly, and for a while Claire's barbs stopped. She was too busy planning her wedding, gushing about centerpieces and venues, to care about Evelyn's name. I thought maybe we'd turned a corner. Evelyn and I were trying for a baby then, and life felt full of possibility. We'd lie in bed at night, dreaming about names: Henry for a boy, maybe Clara for a girl. Evelyn would laugh and say, "No old lady names." Right, and I'd pull her close, hating that Claire's words had wormed their way into her heart. Then Claire got pregnant. It was unexpected, a whirlwind of joy and chaos. She called me one night, her voice trembling with excitement and fear. "Mark, I'm going to be a mom. A mom." Can you believe it? I could hear Tom in the background, laughing, and for the first time in years, Claire sounded vulnerable. I was happy for her, genuinely happy. Our family rallied around her, Mom knitting tiny booties, Dad offering unsolicited advice about crib safety. Evelyn, ever the peacemaker, threw herself into helping Claire, offering to paint a mural for the nursery. Claire, to my surprise, accepted. I thought maybe this was it, the moment they'd finally connect. Evelyn spent hours sketching a whimsical forest scene, full of soft greens and blues, animals peeking out from behind trees. When she unveiled it at Claire's baby shower, the room gasped. It was beautiful, a gift of love. Claire hugged her, tears in her eyes, and whispered, "Thank you, Evelyn." I thought we'd finally move past the name thing, but then the baby came. A girl, born on a rainy April morning, tiny and perfect with Claire's dark hair and Tom's wide eyes. We gathered in the hospital, passing her around, marveling at her tiny fingers. Claire was exhausted but glowing, her usual sharpness softened by motherhood. When it was Evelyn's turn to hold the baby, she cradled her gently, her face lit with a quiet joy. "She's perfect," Evelyn whispered, brushing a finger over the baby's cheek. Claire looked at her, then at Tom, and said, "We've decided on a name." The room went quiet, everyone waiting. Claire's eyes locked on Evelyn's, and she said, "Her name is Evelyn." The air left my lungs. Evelyn froze, the baby still in her arms, her eyes wide with shock. Mom gasped, Dad coughed, and I just stared at Claire, trying to make sense of it. After years of mocking, of tearing down Evelyn's name at every turn, she'd chosen it for her daughter. It felt like a cruel twist, a final jab disguised as a tribute. Evelyn handed the baby back to Claire, her hands shaking, and excused herself to the bathroom. I followed her, finding her leaning against the sink, tears streaming down her face. "Why would she do that?" she whispered. "Is this another joke? Another way to hurt me?" I didn't have an answer. I just held her, my heart breaking for the woman who'd endured so much from my family. Back in the room, Claire was oblivious, cooing over little Evelyn, telling everyone how the name just felt right. I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake her and demand to know what she was thinking. But I waited until we were alone. Later that night, when Tom had taken Mom and Dad home. "Claire," I said, my voice tight, "why did you name her Evelyn after everything you've said?" She looked at me as surprised, like she hadn't expected the question. "What do you mean I love the name now? It's strong, classic. It suits her." I stared at her, searching for the lie, but her face was open, earnest. "You hated it," I said. "You made Evelyn's life hell for years because of her name." Claire's smile faded, and for the first time, I saw guilt flicker in her eyes. "I was wrong," she said quietly. "I was jealous. Okay, Evelyn came into our family, and you were so happy. And I felt like I was losing you. The name was just an easy target. But when I saw her with the mural, with how much she cared, I realized I was wrong about her, about everything." Her words hit me like a tidal wave. Jealousy. All those years of cruelty, all the pain she'd caused Evelyn. Because she felt threatened, I wanted to be angry, but I was too tired, too sad. "You need to tell her," I said. "Not me." Claire nodded, but I could see the fear in her eyes. She wasn't good at apologies, never had been. The next day, she asked Evelyn to come over, just the two of them. I don't know exactly what was said. Evelyn didn't share every word, but when she came home, her eyes were red, but her smile was real. She apologized, Evelyn said. She said naming the baby Evelyn was her way of making amends, of honoring me. I don't know if I fully believe her, but I want to try. Over the next few months, things changed. Claire made an effort, inviting Evelyn to lunch, asking her to be little Evelyn's godmother. Evelyn, with her endless capacity for forgiveness, accepted. I watched them slowly build something new, a fragile bridge between two women who'd been at odds for so long. Little Evelyn became the glue, her giggles filling our family gatherings with a new kind of warmth. But I couldn't shake the feeling that Claire's apology, though sincere, couldn't erase the years of hurt. Evelyn carried those scars, even if she didn't show them. I wondered if Claire truly understood the weight of what she'd done, or if naming her daughter Evelyn was less about honor and more about absolving her own guilt. One night, As we watched little Evelyn toddle around Claire's living room, my wife leaned against me, her voice soft. I used to hate my name because of her, she said, but now, when I see that little girl, I feel proud, like maybe my name means something good after all. I kissed her forehead, marveling at her strength. She turned Claire's cruelty into something beautiful, just like she always did. But I still wondered, was Claire's gesture enough? Could a name, given in love, erase the pain of years of hate? As I look back on this story, I'm left with questions. Was Claire's apology enough to heal the wounds she inflicted? Can a single act of redemption, like naming a child after someone, make up for years of cruelty? I don't have the answers, but I'd love to hear what you think. Share your thoughts. Was Claire's gesture a true turning point, or was it too little, too late? What would you have done in Evelyn's place?